Hi there, thank you for tuning in. Here is a game I've just played 25 minutes ago. I was going to bring you another game, and guess what? I've already actually processed this one, but then I noticed I didn't show the ending. So I've done that before. So anyway, can you see me? I'm over here on top of the cliff, and so I'm trying to hide. And I can hide quite quickly because I can just block myself out. So I hope you enjoy this game. My opponent and I both go Berserk mode, and we've both got normally 5 minutes each for the game. But I and he also go Berserk mode, 2.5 minutes each. So here's this game. So, of course, if now ef3, if f3, then queen e3 check. Look, see, queen check, and then knight takes knight, probably, and bishop takes, queen takes, one of a piece. So my opponent's not going to do that, are they? They play knight d3. Knight df6. So this helps develop this bishop, which pretty stifled. Yes, I agree. But do I develop now? No, I renew the whole threat. I go knight g4. Now, if f3, well, I'll probably panic. No. If f3, then I have queen e3 check still. So if f3, so this is what I mean by being like a wasp. Be like a wasp in chess. So my opponent now plays bishop c1. Yep, quite a good move. Queen h5, the only move on the planet now. Better than f5 because I threaten queen h2 checkmate. So here's h3, and what would you play now? Dribble the knight back to h6 or f6 or what? Here I played knight gf2. Very speculative. Very, very, very speculative. And if I get away with it, I'll play knight c3 real quickly, and then knight f2 or knight e4. Knight, if I'm allowed to. Or knight ce4. Anyway, rook f2, and I materialistically took knight f2, and my opponent goes king f2, and here I play a developing move, bishop g7, and bishop f4, good move, bishop f4, knight f4, and drop the queen back because it's now threatened, but I'm also looking at g5 and f4, etc. So here's queen h6. Got to play very quickly, sort of craziness against this sort of opponent, because if I allow consolidation from my opponent, I will probably get beaten. In fact, this is probably even a lost position anyway. So e3, g5, knight d3, what's your move? Of course it is. It's f4. I mean, it's probably unsound, but for 2.5 minutes each, it's absolutely great. So ef4, gf4, this is what I want to have occur. Now, probably just knight f4 now would probably be okay without me looking into it. I haven't really looked into it. But my opponent now went g4, so I hopped into h4 square, where it looks quite tangy for my queen, and was met with king g1, queen g3, which threatens, of course, f3. So my opponent moves out of the way, king h1. So I play f3 anyway. And what do you do after f1? Bishop f1, what do you do? because I don't think white really wants to give the bishop away on g2, which can be done with the pawn as well as the queen, is bishop f1. So now I played f2, and bishop g2 was the next move. So bishop g2 is the next move. What's your move after that? It's quite strong too. I think it is. I think it's quite a strong move. Bishop g2, and here I played probably the best move of the game. I played rook f3. Now, the rook is now joining in the queen with the queen and attacking these two knights because they have sacrificed. Now, if bishop f3, no good, because everyone can see that queen h3 is checkmate. Okay, so if bishop f3 now, blunder, as Judge Rinder would say, talking. That's what I'm very good at, talking. But here, if bishop f3, then queen h3 is checkmate, as there's nowhere for the king to run to, even though the king does want to run somewhere. So rook f3 is very annoying, and it's not far away from the end of the game, sadly. My opponent probably just couldn't be bothered. Probably thinks they're playing a cheat. Yeah. And, of course, if knight f2, then rook f2, and the game's over. Or rook c3, but rook f2, and the game is really over after rook f2. So white now played rook d1. Fair enough. So what's your next move for black? Of course, yes. Rook a f8. Now, the bishop went back to f1, which is a bit sad. But what is black going to get met with? I mean, what can black get met with here from white? What can white do? It's a little bit sad. First of all, just the threat of f1 is check with the queen, and either or rook takes, bishop takes, rook takes, checkmate. See? So it's pretty sad. So here, white might as well resign. But fair enough, they'll play me. They play bishop f1. So the finale is very easy to see. Can you see it? And it is, of course, the following move. Queen g1, checkmate. Okay, I'm out of here. Bye for now. David Wegener, over and out.